The sun had just begun its lazy climb above the rolling pastures when the shrill ring of my cell phone shattered the dawn's peaceful hush, forcing me to drop a plate of sizzling sausage onto the picnic table. My wife's eyes went wide as I stared at the caller ID. Emergency dispatch. Before I could punch it away, the voice barked, "Sir, we've received a call from your property. Multiple disturbances reported." My heart sank until I heard the next words. Caller says someone's illegally trespassing and causing a ruckus. Officers en route. I blinked at my wife, then at the dozen burly figures clustered around the charcoal pit. Me Marines, home on leave, summoned days earlier to surprise me with a reunion barbecue. The irony hit me like a mule's kick. HOA President Karen Whitaker, notorious for her petty edicts, had dialed 911 on us for laughter, music, and the scent of grill smoke drifting across her lawn. Rage and amusement warred in my chest. How dare she weaponize emergency services against friends who'd risked everything for their country? I seized the moment. If Karen thought she could bully a bunch of combat veterans, she had no idea who she was messing with. My stomach roared with indignation as I strode toward the ranch gate, Marines trailing behind like a phalanx of naval infantry. Over the fence, I spotted Karen's waddling silhouette, her floral blouse damp with frustration gesticulating into her phone. The local sheriff's cruiser idled at the road's edge, lights flashing softly. I cleared my throat and said loudly, "Karen, here's your emergency. 30 Marines here for a backyard barbecue. No crime committed, just neighbors celebrating. Unless you need rescue from your own entitlement." Her phone dropped as she turned, breathless and red-faced, eyes flicking between my uniformed brothers and the approaching deputy. That first twist-a spectacle of solidarity and stern resolve shattered her scare tactic, replacing whispered gossip with righteous defiance. Before Karen's protest could mount, the sheriff's deputy stepped forward, badge shining, and said, "I'm Deputy Alvarez. We responded to a 911 call regarding an alleged disturbance." "Can you explain, ma'am?" Karen stammered, searching for her clipboard. "They're trespassing. They have no permit to assemble." The deputy held up a hand and scanned the lawn. Marine caps hanging from fence posts, American flags fluttering, barbecue smoke drifting like a promise. He replied, "This is private property owned by the caller's invitees. No criminal violation here. You can't use 911 for personal grievances." The weight of civil authority bore down on her, her shoulders sagging as the deputy withdrew his citation book. Meanwhile, my Marine brothers exchanged amused glances and began loading burgers onto plates, their laughter echoing across the pasture. The second twist, the intervention of legal authority, and the sight of uniformed veterans reclaiming their right to gather, was the crescendo of our counterattack, exposing Karen's misuse of public resources and petty intimidation. Karen's face crumpled as she realized the PR disaster unfolding live. Her son's live stream pinged with notifications, viewers mocking her hysteria. I walked to the deputy and whispered, "Ma'am, I'd appreciate a warning to deterrent neighbors from harassing us again." The deputy nodded, issuing Karen a citation for false reporting and misuse of emergency services. The tattooed Marine next to me let out a low whistle. "Mess with the vets, get served." Laughter rippled as Karen slunk into her SUV, her clipboard left abandoned on the ranch gate like a defeated banner. My wife gathered the Marine caps and American flags, draping them over the table. At that moment, the barbecue smoke curled skyward, a symbol of victory seasoned with solidarity and lawful defense. As the deputy departed, the Marines snapped a crisp salute and resumed flipping burgers, the scent of charcoal lifting our spirits. Neighbors emerged from their homes, applauding our stand against HOA tyranny and joining us for brats and beer. Karen's HOA boardmate, once complicit, arrived bearing bouquets of grilled zucchini and apologized, citing her oversight of Karen's extreme measures. That unexpected act of contrition, a loyalist turned peacemaker, added emotional depth. Even those who enforce petty rules can pivot toward community when confronted with their consequences. By midday, local news trucks rolled in, cameras trained on our eclectic gathering of Marine caps, barbecue smoke, and beaming neighbors. A reporter asked me, "Were you concerned for your safety when Karen called 911? I shook my head and replied, "Know me, brothers, and I served in far worse. This is home, and we defend it, not just with guns, but with unity." The reporter glanced at the Marines loading plates and declared, "Seems like humor, patriotism, and barbecue trumped petty HOA drama." That segment aired primetime, cementing our story as a folk hero saga. Veterans taught entitlement a lesson, armed not with weapons but with camaraderie and the rule of law. In the aftermath, the HOA board convened an unprecedented public hearing. Karen faced criticism for abusing emergency services and harassing residents. The board suspended her presidency indefinitely, instituted a 911 misuse policy requiring all member complaints to undergo review by a civil appeals panel, and issued a formal apology on behalf of Riverbend Estates. Our ranch barbecue became an annual event, Veterans Day jamboree celebrating service and community unity. As dusk settled, neighbors lit sparklers and recited the preamble to the Constitution, united under the stars and stripes. I raised my beer to my Marine brothers, to defending freedom in foreign soil and our own. They saluted back, smiles cutting through barbecue smoke. That evening, I penned a final post on Entitled People Reddit. From 911 calls to Marine firepower, how a ranch barbecue became a lesson in rights and respect. Did cutting off her panic button uphold justice, or did it escalate a neighborhood spat? Weigh in on right versus wrong below. As keyboard clicks faded and the last embers glowed in the pit, I knew our story had transcended a mere HOA feud. Instead, it had become a powerful testament to community, service, and the enduring defense of liberty. Morning's glow revealed cleanup crews removing stray burger wrappers and stray sparkler wires from the pasture. Neighbors working together in a mood of shared triumph. The annual Veterans Day jamboree, a tradition born from that fateful BBQ, stretched beyond our ranch, drawing families, dignitaries, and even the mayor, who proclaimed our event an official civic celebration. Yet beneath the festive air, deeper reckonings unfolded. In the weeks following her suspension, Karen Whitaker retreated into solitude, her ornate mansion now a silent monument to her downfall. Rumors circulated that she'd hired a fix-it consultant, none other than my ranch foreman's sister, Ellen Parker, a veteran mediator skilled at conflict resolution. In a subtle twist of fate, Ellen approached me with Karen's request for forgiveness workshops aimed at rebuilding neighborly trust. Skeptical but committed to healing, I helped coordinate a series of courageous conversations, inviting Karen and affected neighbors to share experiences in a structured format. On a crisp afternoon, the oak-paneled pavilion hosted our first session. Karen seated uncomfortably beside those she'd harassed, her voice trembling as she admitted, "I mistook authority for entitlement." The raw vulnerability on display underscored the human capacity for change, adding an unexpected layer of empathy to our saga. Meanwhile, the new HOA board, guided by Deputy DA Sarah Morgan's insights, instituted quarterly reviews of all enforcement orders, enforced by a resident lawyer panel. These measures prevented any individual, including me, decades removed from my combat station, from unilaterally blocking water, firing bear traps, or dialing emergency dispatch. The oversight structure balanced vigilant protection of rights with safeguards against misuse, ensuring our community's hard lessons endured in policy. As autumn arrived, the ranch's orchards ripened under the steady flow of properly regulated irrigation, a testament to our perseverance. The Marine brothers, some newly discharged and others active reserves, formed the honor guard at our gatherings, their folded flags a symbol of service and continuity. They taught flag etiquette workshops for kids, turning our assaults on entitlement into positive exchanges of history and discipline. The barbecue pit, once the site of conflict and 911 calls, now fueled routines of mentorship and celebration. In winter, our memorial for Karen's misuse of Powera derelict phone booth transformed into a public message station, enabled residents to anonymously report grievances, track HOA decisions, and post appreciations for good neighbors. The installation's brass plaque read, "From abuse to accountability, speak, listen, resolve." At its unveiling, I reflected on how empowerment meant both the right to confront and the responsibility to listen. When spring's thaw arrived, The county's legislative council invited me to testify on HOA oversight at the state Capitoline honor reflecting Riverbend Estate's emergence as a model of resilient community governance. I spoke of our 5-part journey. The shocking 911 call, the truth of veteran solidarity, the tense showdown with Karen's hired blockaders, her suspension and legal reckoning, and our subsequent renewal through empathy and policy reforms. My words highlighted that true defense of rights channels both firm resistance and open-hearted repair. Back home, the ranch's fences stood unbreached, water flowed uninterrupted, and the annual Veterans Day Jamboree blazed with new energy and inclusivity. Karen, now a restored member of our Courageous Conversations alumni, sometimes attended workshops, her presence a living reminder that accountability can redirect entitlement toward service. On the 5th anniversary of that dawn's 911 call, I penned the final post on Entitled People Reddit. From false emergencies to Frontier BB show, veterans taught entitlement a lesson in respect and renewal. Did we defend our home too aggressively, or did we strike the right balance of force and forgiveness? Cast your vote on right and wrong below. With that, I stepped into the sunlit pasture, the echoes of marine laughter and community warmth weaving our story into the land itself, proof that true courage lies not just in conflict, but in the bravery to heal.